You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Alright, so my name is Raul. What's yours?
Katie.
Katie, nice to meet you. So Katie, I like to start these interviews by asking you to identify some belief you hold to, and then I can ask you questions related to how you got there.
Okay.
And so it can be anything at all. It can be political, it could be religious, it could be none of the above, it could be paranormal, it could be spiritual, just some fact claim about the world, something that you're fairly convinced of, something that is kind of foundational to your understanding of the world.
Okay. I guess the biggest one is that I identify closest with would be Christianity, but
Okay.
I don't hold the same belief systems as secular Christians these days.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm gay.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
So that's the biggest thing that I try to talk to people about. It's
Okay.
like, just because I'm gay doesn't mean I can't believe in Christ.
Okay.
And I don't believe that I'm going to hell because I'm gay. I don't believe that God hates gays. I believe that he's a God of uniqueness. He created everybody and everything to be unique. Everything
Okay.
from the trees to people. No tree looks the same. Why should people be the same?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I could sum all that up in like a statement, Christianity and being gay are not incompatible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. On a scale of 0 to 100, how certain would you say you are of this belief?
100%.
Okay. And what gets you to 100%?
I just, I believe in God is a unconditional God.
Mhm.
And to say that, that God hates this type of people, even though they believe in Him, is saying that God is conditional. So it's
Okay.
contradicting itself.
Okay.
And I feel like that's where a lot of Christians go wrong.
So you feel like they don't really appreciate the unconditionality of God's love. What would convince you otherwise concerning this belief?
God Himself.
God Himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I get up to the pearly gates and He says, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a God I want to believe in.
Okay. So you know that you know this belief to be true because of God's unconditionality. How do you know that? How do you know God's unconditionality? How did you arrive there?
Well, the Bible itself says it.
Okay.
The Bible says a lot of things, but if there's one thing that I believe is 100%, it's that.
The Bible.
Is
Okay.
that Christ and God are unconditional.
Okay. So because the Bible talks about God's unconditional love, that's why you, okay.
And John 3:16 says it.
Okay.
Whosoever believes in Him. It doesn't say whosoever except for these people.
Okay. So if the Bible convinced you of this belief, would it take the Bible maybe to convince you otherwise?
No. Just because, I'm a firm believer that, the Bible has been changed.
Okay.
And a lot of that had to do with the church. I believe that a lot of times throughout history, the church changed what the Bible said to fit their agenda. And that's not necessarily, those of us who just follow the sheep,
Mm-hmm.
as we're called. It's the shepherds, like the pastors and the cardinals,
Mm-hmm. So theoretically, let's say you discovered that the Bible, after all, did teach that being gay and Christianity were incompatible. You're saying that wouldn't convince you because you believe that it's been changed?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you determine whether or not that particular thing had been changed? Like, how do you determine what's been changed and what hasn't? And
Just that unconditional part.
okay.
People are conditional.
Mm-hmm.
God is not.
Okay. Is it possible that the conditionality thing is something that was changed? Like that maybe originally it said God is very conditional, and now it says because it's been changed that he's unconditional?
I suppose it's possible, but I don't know. I've going through my own spiritual walk.
Mm-hmm.
When I stopped listening with my ears, I started listening with my heart and my spirit. Spirit is a direct pipeline to God. nothing else can get in the way of that. You know, so you listen with your spirit and really accept what you're hearing. Then with your spirit, you know, then you can't go wrong with that.
Okay. So how do we determine what's been changed and what hasn't? Like when I come across the Bible saying God is unconditional, how do I determine that hasn't been changed, but that this part about homosexuality and has been changed? How do I determine?
Well, again, that goes back to, you know, listening with your spirit.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by listening to your spirit?
Well, a lot of times, you know, we determine truth and untruth with our minds. You know, your mind has nothing to do with your spirit. Your spirit is all encompassing of you.
Okay.
You know, it's a big part of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your soul and your mind are different things. Your soul, your mind, your heart, all of them are different. They all do different things for you. You know,
Okay.
but your spirit is the one that we tend to forget about.
Okay.
You know, we tend to listen with our hearts and our minds instead of what we really, really, truly feel is right.
Okay. So listening to your spirit, it sounds like has at least something to do with feeling what you feel is true. Is it possible for your listening to your spirit to be fallible? Is it possible for somebody to think they're listening to their spirit and yet be mistaken?
Yeah, that comes down to the individual, I think. For me, I don't think it's fallible for me, but I can't speculate for anybody else.
How do we verify the truth that somebody is receiving by listening to their spirit? If listening to your spirit doesn't necessarily mean what you believe is correct, how do we verify that what you believe because of listening to your spirit is actually correct?
That's where faith comes in.
Okay. Okay, Katie. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for giving me your thoughts.
No worries.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.